Listening on Audible helps your imagination soar. Whether you listen to stories, motivation, expert advice, any genre you love, you can be inspired to imagine new worlds, new possibilities, new ways of thinking. There's more to imagine when you listen. Listening can really lead to positive changes in your mood, your habits, and ultimately your overall well-being. I've been wanting something fun and light for the summer, so I started listening to The Stench of Honolulu by Jack Handey, who, of course, is from Saturday Night Live. We all remember Deep Thoughts. And it's true. I really feel like my imagination is bursting at the seams right now.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
I enjoy true crime podcasts as much as the next person, but I think we've all experienced losing sleep when an episode hits just a little too close to home. With ADT, get 24/7 peace of mind knowing that your home is protected by the most trusted name in home security. With nearly 150 years of experience, reliability, and safety innovations, ADT is a tried-and-true smart home security system that over 6 million Americans trust. Equipped with the latest technology and the intelligence of Google, ADT provides comprehensive protection that you can manage from virtually anywhere. Whether you opt for professional installation by ADT pros or easily set it up yourself, customize your smart security system to work for your home and your routine. With Nest cams and doorbells, set up intelligent alerts so you receive notifications on what matters most. Your camera can tell the difference between a person, package, vehicle, and animal and will alert you when there's activity. When the most trusted name in home security adds the intelligence of Google, you've got a home with no worries. Go to ADT.com today or call 1-800-ADT-ASAP. Google, Nest Cam, and Nest Doorbell are trademarks of Google LLC. ADT. Brilliantly safe.
After investing billions to light up our network, T-Mobile is America's largest 5G network. Plus, right now, you can switch, keep your phone, and we'll pay it off up to $800. See how you can save on every plan versus Verizon and AT&T at T-Mobile.com/across America.
Up to 4 lines via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service ported 90+ states with device and eligible carrier and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months.
Hello and welcome to Winter is Crappening. It's a Watch Our Crappens recap show of House of the Dragon. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me today on our premiere recap of Season 2 of House of the Dragon, Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Well, hello, Ben.
Wow, we are back. House of the Dragons is back. For people... This show goes out on 2 different feeds. We have the Winter is Crappening feed, and if you're listening to us on Winter is Crappening, we also have Watch for Crappens, which you probably already know about, but just in case you don't, check us out on Watch for Crappens. If you're listening on Watch for Crappens and are like, I just want to hear the Game of Thrones coverage, check out Winter is Crappening, and your life might be better or more simpler or more enriched by it. But either way, we are back today to talk House of the Dragon, which has been gone for, I think, like 2 years. It's been a long time. It finally returned, and we are excited to dive into the Season 2 premiere. Ronnie, what did you think?
Well, it's going to be hilarious doing this recap because normally we write the notes. So our notes are usually like question marks and who is this person or whatever. And
yes,
this season we have someone helping with notes, which is great. These tonight it's Chelsea, a girl named Chelsea who we love. Thank you, Chelsea, for this. And so this is somebody who actually knows what's going on. And so they are writing names and descriptions. So I'm interested to see if this is going to make us sound more knowledgeable because I will tell you, I don't remember a lot. It's a lot of time to pass when you're an older person. I'm getting older. I don't remember anything. And I certainly don't remember what the hell happened 2 years ago. I looked this shit up on the YouTube. I watched what happened in season 1 thing on YouTube that explained everything to me in 20 minutes. Half of that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
What was that? And that was that person's brother. He killed his own brother and father just to be nice to the queen. You know, that little slimy guy did that.
Yeah, Laris.
And I forgot that. There's a lot that I forgot. So I'm very excited. But at the end of the day, it's still just a good old-fashioned soap opera.
It really is. Here's what I need. I need HBO to pull up on their last season on House of the Dragons recaps, because that thing went on for 4 minutes and was not helpful at all. It was like these micro clips, and they were strung together so quickly. It was like, I spoke to Elachates, and they want you in the storehouse. The storehouse is burned down. I run this city. It was because of me that you're on the crown. It's a dragon. I'm your uncle. He's dying. I love you, though. But do you love me? And I was like, my head was going back and forth. I rewound that recap so many times to try to piece together things and try to remember what was going on. And I got about 60% of it, but it was just too fast for me. I was like, why? Why is that lady claiming that it was because of this? And why is that because of that? And why are they tense again? And I really had to work hard to jog my memory and get it all back up to
All right. Well,
current speed.
we might have the audience right now asking a very simple question. Why would I listen to you for this recap? Because you're idiots and you don't know anything and admittedly remember nothing about this show. So here's why. We don't care. We're just
Because
here
we
to
watched
laugh
the
at
show
your
like you
dresses.
did. Because we all watched the same show and we have reactions.
Don't listen to us because of knowledge, because we do not have that. Just listen to it for fun. Because we do have that. So that's why. There are so many good, smart things to go listen to. If you need something smart, go listen to those. That's never why you come to Watch What Crappens, okay? Never come for the intelligence, okay? So we start with duty is sacrifice. And I was like, oh, fucking A. Are you going to lecture me about taxes? Line 1. How about you suck my dick, Uncle Sam? How about that? Okay. I don't need to hear about voting. Go vote and pay your goddamn taxes. Okay. I don't need that. I already paid for my HBO Max. That's all I'm paying for.
So this is the voice. We hear a deep voiced voiceover that winds up being Lord Stark. Thank you, Chelsea, because I would have been like, turns out it was a guy, but it was Lord Stark. And he's what we eventually find out is that Lord Stark is going up the big old elevator up the wall, the big wall in the north. And this is what he's saying on the elevator. Duty is sacrifice. It eclipses all things, even blood. All men of honor must pay its price. The North owes a great duty to the Seven Kingdoms, one older than any oath, since the days of the first. I was like, you know what? How about how are you? God, this is a long elevator ride. It's cold, huh? Could you imagine being stuck on an elevator with someone talking like this?
Yeah, it's been a long time. But basically what's happening is it's the watch. We're going back to the Night's Watch. We're going back to the wall. And so that is why we're being lectured. It is governmental. And I fucking knew it from the first line when they were like, duty. I was like, oh, God, here we go with the fucking government. Because that's always where you hear that shit. And sure enough, it's like this, the Night's Watch where you send your firstborn to get his ass murdered by a White Walker to prove that you're a good citizen or whatever shit they've got him brainwashed into believing over there. So the prince is Lord Stark is coming to visit the wall for the first time. And basically he's there to guilt them into giving men for this war, right? And he's like, hi, we already have a war. It's against zombies. Okay. So I don't really know what you think you're up against, but we're up against some pretty scary motherfuckers. Okay, now sure. Does it end up where a little girl just is hurled forward with a crazy magic dagger that ends everything pretty quickly? Sure. But we don't know that yet. Okay, that's 200 years in the future. And right now we've got a bunch of fucking zombies. So fuck off.
Yeah. So they get to the top of this elevator ride, very long elevator ride with Lord Stark droning on about government, saying things how, by the way, 1 in every 10 men from a household is chosen to fortify the watch. This is not a sentence, but an honor. No, it is literally a sentence. You cannot tell me I have been taken away from my nice bed and good food to stand on a wall and look at a forest for the rest of my life is an honor. I'm sorry, it's not an honor. That is a sentence. So he's droning on about this, trying to kind of like, sell the wall to the prince. And the prince is just there to be like, hey, I think my mom is the queen. I just want to know, do you have my back? We just want you to be with us.
Yeah. And so Lord Stark is like, Starks, do not forget our oaths, my prince. But you must know, my gaze is forever between the north and the south. But my duty to the wall is more important than my duty to anyone. I was like, oh my God, just marry the wall already. Over it.
I know. By the way, also, this wall really is not going to matter for many hundred more years. Okay. So like, I think it's because since we know it's literally not going to be towards like the end of Game of Thrones that this wall truly matters. We're just like, I know you care about the wall, but you don't really have to care about it right now. It's like you can do other things.
Jacaerys is like, bro, the Hightowers are trying to usurp the throne. So what are we going to do about it? And he's like, okay, so let me get this straight. So if you guys win, I get to stay at this wall and guard everybody from these fucking zombies. But if the Hightowers win, then I get to stay at this wall and guard everybody from fucking zombies. Are we going to make me some kind of offer? Do I get a blowy? Like what? Anything? You're offering me nothing? Sounds great. I'm in.
Yeah. And so he's like, my father brought King Jaehaerys and Queen Alysanne to see the wall, and his grace stood at this very outlook and watched as their dragons, the greatest power in the world, refused to cross it. So what I'm trying to say is it's a pretty cool wall. So it can't really tempt me away. Even dragons are afraid of it. It's a wall. This is like This is like HGTV for us, okay? Like like you've never seen a wall like this. Well, like we are not going to leave this wall. It's just the best.
And Jacaerys is like, well, what does it keep out? What does the wall keep out? And he goes, death. Okay, is that supposed to scare him? He just saw his dad with like a hole in his head at dinner.
I know. He's like, death, but unless you have pine trees. It's like,
or his grandpa, I guess. His grandpa should have said. Yeah.
No, I think it was, it was his grandfather. It's hard to tell sometimes on this show who, like, sometimes the grandfather is the dad, so.
Yeah, it's like, it's my sister, cousin, wife, father.
I just saw a man with a hole in his face drinking wine and it spilling all out onto the table because of a hole in his face. So
point is, I'm not worried about death. Okay,
I'm not worried about these pine trees.
Seen a lot of it.
So then a soldier shows up and he's like, a raven has arrived with urgent news, which, by the way, we find out later that news is that, by the way, your brother died. So way to go, wall, keeping out the death, because literally someone just died while you're talking about how the wall beats out death.
Sorry, the wall didn't work this time. Sorry. You're a little out of the range of the walls.
The wall is like 5G service.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you're just on Mint Wall, and Mint Wall... Yeah. It like gets some energy from the Verizon wall, but not enough coverage that you need. You're going to need to go to a higher plan with Verizon.
You unfortunately used up all your wall's data, so some death got through.
Oh, and the coverage you did get is going to charge you quadruple. So sorry about your dead brother. Also, Lord Stark is like, by the way, I've got some graybeards, and they're old as fuck. You can have them. What the hell? Can we have less age shaming on this show? That would be nice.
I know. Here's a nice old man, and you can have him go up against the dragons in King's Landing. That'll work out great, huh?
Also, just a question: the envelopes that they get are just those little rolled up pieces of paper. How do you know it's urgent? Does it say urgent? Is there a magical ribbon that's on it? How do you know unless you fucking read it first? Okay.
Also, how do the ravens land? Like if a raven wants to stop and like just sit on a branch for a second, it's gonna inherently drop the message because it has to put or is it like, do you think it like sort of holds on to the message and the branch at the same time? I just think they're better systems.
Let me tell you what, the ravens have this down better than humans do, because I don't hear people being like, the raven got lost with your mail. I don't ever hear that. And guess in my neighborhood in Texas, they have a whole Facebook page dedicated to how sucky the mail people are, because everything's constantly getting lost over there. Okay. So I don't see that for ravens. There's no Facebook thing that's like, ravens suck at mail. you know? So I say the Ravens have it figured out.
Raven, I'll
Go
tell you
back
one
to
thing.
Ravens.
I would rely on a Raven 10 times more than I would rely on FedEx Ground. That just goes without saying.
FedEx. Oh my God. How is UPS able to bring your packages to the door? But FedEx will be sending you a package of twisty ties from some random fucking person you didn't mean to order from because you didn't know that they were going to come from a FedEx and you never would have ordered it had you known. And then FedEx is like, oh, sorry, we came at 6:32 a.m. and nobody answered, so we're not coming for another 2 weeks with your package. Why aren't you just dropping the package? How are they able to leave a MacBook outside of my house, but you can't leave a package of twisty ties?
A Raven would do it. A Raven would just hang out.
A Raven would fucking do it. Yeah.
A Raven would fucking do it. So now, so the Raven has a message, and Jace is very upset, and then we cut to Dragonstone. A dragon is flying over Dragonstone, and now we're in the cave, and Rhaenys, she gets off her dragon, Melis. Is it Melis or Melis? Either way, she disembarks. She lands. She gets on the jetway. She gets out and she's about to walk into, border control, customs. And then Daemon is like, hold on 1 second. Take your mount again. We're flying out. And she's like, are you kidding me? I just took a 12-hour non-stop dragon ride. Okay? The AC wasn't working. I was boiling half the time. Shit food, I'd like to add. I mean, I'm never going to pay this much money for business class on a dragon to get this sort of shit food. And now you want me to get back on the thing? No, I'm spending the night here.
I love that she just purses her lips and then moves them in disapproval at him. She's like, gosh. I love that move on her, that actor. And she's like, why do you want to go there? Why do you want to go to King's Landing? And he's like, we've got to kill Vhagar. I cannot face that horrible bit alone. With my dragon and yours together, we can kill that Vhagar and her rider, make it a son for a son. And she's like, killing children is honestly so last season. I mean, really, was this what the Queen wanted? I'm really tired. I've been working a very long time today. Hold on. Let me act like I'm sucking on a cough drop and purse my lips at you a little bit.
Was this the Queen's command? He's like, no, the Queen remains absent, and I should be at Harrenhal, bending knees, but I must instead remain here to wage her war.
And she's like, or perhaps simply await her return. You're not the boss of me.
Oh, she's been gone for days. Days, too long. She's exposed.
And he's like, she's like, that your wife is grieving because her son just got killed. And he's like, I don't care. Grieve, wow. She's also a queen. Get to work, bitch. And she's like, well, when my child died, I was inconsolable. 4 months. Little does she know, her child's living in P-Town now, living his best fucking life. Probably a sweater gay at this point. Has 10 children.
Yeah. She has no... Well, I'm sure that will come out. That her son's living, running a neighborhood bar, serving Cosmos, So he's basically like, no, fly with me. It's a command. She goes, well, would that you were a king. I'm going to take these shackles off and put my feet up and catch up on my TV. All right? See you soon.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of I don't care, you're not the boss of me. Please don't bother leaving me a message because I'm not going to return it. Goodbye, sad person. I'll wait for the woman in charge to return. Beep.
I think we all know the first rule of arriving someplace is that the last thing you ever want to do is get back into your car and go out again. Even if
Seriously, call me. Call me on the fucking phone. Yeah, let me know that you need me to go pick something up because I'm home now. Bye.
Yeah.
The couch is calling. Bye.
If I've taken a 2-minute drive to Starbucks and I've come back and the entire thing has taken 5 minutes and someone says, oh, we need to go back to Starbucks. I'm like, no, it's done. I'm not driving back to Starbucks now for another 3 days.
Yeah, it's over. Sorry. You lost your chance.
I'm not getting back on that dragon.
No. So then now we cut to a ship. And men are mopping to the hey-ho, helly-be-ho, chipping the barnacles off the sides. It's a chipping barnacle off the sides and horny-ho and horny-ho.
So Corlys is there. Corlys is, of course, Rhaenys' husband. and he's got like a cane and stuff. He's like, and his eyes are bulging. He's like, the actor was like, all right, I need to look like I'm amazed at the ships, so let me make my eyes as big as possible. He's like, oh, ships. Wow, look at that ship. It's a marvel she was able to return from the Stepstones at all. And so we meet this guy, Alan, spelled A-L-Y-N, because he can't just be A-L-L-A-N. He can't be Alan. You're Alan of Hull, which is that's really on the nose. If you're a shipmaker and your name is Alan of Hull, that's like really on the nose. And he's
I wonder if it was named after him. Like, did they even have a hull of the ship before Alan? I don't know.
They named hulls after Alan. He was he was a real innovator.
Alan's like the first person to like invent holes, and so now they call the hole, or maybe he improved it, and so now they call out the hole because of Alan. That's how it works. Anyway, they're talking about how, they need the ships because they're having a blockade. And, you got to have ships because he's Corliss and he's a ship person. So they've got a lot of ships going on. And this guy's like, oh, yeah, sorry about your air dying. That truly sucked. That blew for you. And he's like, yeah, well, thanks for saving my life because I heard you were the one who pulled me out of the water. And the guy's like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. Listen. I'm the hole maker. I'm not the lifesaver. I can't have all these titles, okay? Let's just stick with hole maker. He's like, here, you're a lifesaver, and I owe you my life. Anything I can do. Blowy, would you like a blowy?
Alan's like, no, this attention's too much, even though I'm standing literally at the first boat you see when you walk out of wherever you just walked out of. Like, even though I'm right front and center. Like, no, I don't want this attention at all.
Yeah, he's like, well, I am indebted to you, Alan. Or please stop offering me blowies. It's my job to pull drowning king people out of the water.
Now, since I am indebted to you, I just want to make sure it's Alan, A-L-A-N, like Alan Menken, famed songwriter, right?
No, not quite. So A-L-L-E-N, then, like a wrench.
No. Is it like Ellen DeGeneres, but you say Alan instead? Is that? I just want it for my notes.
Please let me go.
It's A-L-Y-N. Oh, that's odd. It's really strange. I think I may have to take my debt back. I think I'm not indebted to you anymore.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Support for this show comes from Atlassian. Atlassian software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom help power the collaboration needed for teams to accomplish what would otherwise be impossible alone. Because individually we're great, but together we're so much better. That's why millions of teams around the world, including 75% of the Fortune 500, trust Atlassian software for everything from space exploration and green energy to delivering pizzas and podcasts. Whether you're a team of 2, 200, or 2 million, Atlassian software is built to help keep you connected and moving together as one.
What makes a life a good one? Is it the adventure you have? Or the friends you find along the way? Maybe it's pursuing your passion while striving to protect, defend, and save what you believe in every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? In the Coast Guard, we think it's all of the above and more, but you'll have to find out for yourself. Visit gocoastguard.com to learn more.
So now, we're back at King's Landing. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, we didn't even talk about the new opening.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you.
First of all, was the opening last year, was it the same song? Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. I thought it was a different song for some reason.
No, it was the Game of Thrones song, like slightly different instrumentation. But the last year's opening was just like a torrent of blood just descending down various surfaces.
I loved it. It was like a dominoes type thing, but with blood, where the blood would fill certain things, which would weight them, and then they would turn like little things over that would be vessels for more blood to drip down into the passageways. So I thought it was so cool, and I went to each house. This one is crazy intricate. It's a tapestry of somebody is that what you call it? It's a tapestry, right?
Yeah. I think it was a tapestry. It was
where they make art with not knitting. What do you call that?
with
tapestry.
threads, yarns. Well,
Yeah.
either way, I mean, it was like a woven. It was a woven, and I was like, I'm so glad we're tuning in for this season where they're going to wage horrific war on each other, kill some children, and we're going to express it through embroidery.
Blankets. Yeah, they're like, you know what? Bless this home. Bless this home. Am I right, guys? They're like, the last opening was too hard. So it was too rough on people. No one wanted to see blood. Let's make it more of a family opening. I just want to see a blanket being woven with people's pictures on it. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, let's have an Etsy moment, and then we'll get into child murder. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I loved it, actually. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great animation, and I'm like, nothing makes sense to me in all the tapestry, but I'm like, it's one of those things where by the end of the season, I'll be like, oh, that's what that is, and that's what that represents.
Yeah. So we see the castle, and there's a dragon coming, and the employees, of course, because it's always the poor people who get murdered by dragons. The rich people are generally, of course, we did just see a rich person get killed by a dragon, but that was extenuating circumstances. Generally, it's the poor people. So they're like, dragon, oh my God, dragon's coming, oh my God. And so they get the scorpion out to kill the dragon, the big weapon that ended up killing a couple of What's-Her-Buns' dragons in Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And they get those out, and they're about to shoot. And let me just tell you, that dragon does not give a fuck. Okay?
That dragon has so many holes in its wings. That dragon, there's so many holes in that wings of people trying to kill that dragon. And that dragon's like, I am literally the biggest dragon. Like, you're not going to kill me right now.
You're never going to fucking get me.
You're like flinging toothpicks at
losers.
me.
Yeah.
I'm a dragon. Yeah. So they're like, oh, it's a dragon. They're like, oh, wait, it's Vhagar. It's Vhagar. Never mind. So then we go down to Helena Targaryen in the chamber. So she's playing with her children and everything. And King Aegon Targaryen, I think they are married, but also brother or sister, correct?
Yes.
It's a very intimate bond that they share. And
there's very flowers in the attic, and those were also blondes. So I think it's something about blonde people who just want to fuck their siblings. And I know there's a lot of blonde people in the world. So if you're blonde and listening to this and feeling very offended right now, stop being offended and go make out with your sister. Seriously.
Well, Aegon is like, where's Jaehaerys? King Aegon, because he's like the usurper king, right? Because he's the king, also because his mom was talking to like the king while he was dying, and he thought it was his daughter, and he was like Aegon's the Fire Knights and everything. So it's like this, it's a folly. It's this whole like, several mistakes and misunderstandings, and now he has become
It's
king.
like Three's Company.
Yeah, it's very much like Three's Company, right? Something overheard by accident,
Yeah. Like where Janet's trying to like get a picture into the wall, and she's like, I am going to nail you if it's the last thing I do. And then Mr. Furley hears it, and he's like, oh my God, she's going to have sex with Jack, and Jack is supposed to be gay. I'm going to kick him out.
Yeah, that's literally what this is all based off of. Yeah. So he's looking for his son, Jaehaerys, and because he wants to take Jaehaerys to the small council, because, Jaehaerys is going to be king one day, and Jaehaerys needs to start learning.
Yeah. And he's like, and who better to learn from than someone who has no idea what it means to be a king? Am I right? Let's get this on the road. So Helena's like, what if he does not want to be king? Oh, okay, that matters now. That has never mattered on this show, ma'am. So she says, I'm afraid. And he's like, oh, please, don't be afraid. They'd be fools to come with Vhagar protecting the city. She goes, I'm not afraid of dragons. I'm afraid of the rats. And the maids start looking around the room like, oh, shit, there's rats in here.
There's rats?
And everyone takes it as, oh, God, she's just crazy. Which, have we not learned that this lady is psychic? Let's listen to the lady.
She keeps predicting things, and they're looking around at their feet like there's literal rats. They're like, really? Rats? I mean, we're a castle. So now we cut to Queen Alicent Hightower in her bedroom, receiving cunnilingus from Kristen Cole. This guy.
I love this note. This is great note taking, by the way. I just thank you, Chelsea, again, because I love this. Cut to Queen Alicent Hightower in her bedroom, receiving cunnilingus from Sir Kristen Cole.
This guy really gets around, right? I mean, he goes from he went from Ray and now he's with Alicent. He's really all over the place.
Well, let me tell you my favorite thing about this fucking hypocrite. This is just like a conservative in Congress who's trying to pass all these anti-gay laws, and then you see them banging somebody on fucking Grinder or whatever. Just such a hypocrite. I mean, he murdered a gay guy in cold blood because the gay guy was like, hey, we're both mistresses now, right? He murdered him because he's so pure and he doesn't want anyone to know. And then he wanted Ray Ray to not even be queen because how dare she give him her, virginity or whatever, and then dump him and not leave her entire life to go marry him in some fishing village because he made an oath and his oath is so righteous and so morally correct and she ruined him, this dirty woman. And then look what he's doing. Mr. Pure as white snow turns around and immediately starts banging somebody that he's not married to. You
dereliction of his
hypocrite.
duty. They said that on the little, I don't know if you watched the little after show thing that they have at the end where they talk about things. They talk about how Christian is like he is the most complicated person because he's someone who talks all about purity and talking about like duty and everything. And this is totally, not what he should be doing as a knight. And he is just a hypocrite. He is like the biggest dick of all of them, if you ask me.
And so hot. Oh my God, he's so adorable.
He is hot.
Too.
Yeah, that's what usually
like
happens.
Most of those guys, well, I shouldn't say most, but like a couple of those guys who get caught being hypocrites in Congress, some of them are bangable, So Alicent is like, well, there's a chill in the air. He's like, wasn't just a chill in my pants, am I right?
It's you got no pants on. That's why it's cold for you. Did ya? So then we cut to Allison and Kristen approaching this. They go to the small council meeting, and we got all our favorites there. We got Otto Hightower, who's like the worst. We got Tywin Lannister. We got Jasper Wilde, Grand Maester Orwell, young Jaehaerys Targaryen. By the Chelsea really knows all these names. If it had been us, it would have been like guy in a robe, beard guy. Guy who was in Notting Hill, but now is the bad guy in this show, and little boy.
Yeah, I don't even want to read all the names because it makes me tired. But he's brought his son to council. So Aegon's like, well, hello, my son will now learn the rules of the court. Now, good morrow, what news? And Otto's like, well, nobody's answering our letter. And he goes, cunts.
He's like, well, the Stormlands should be ours after Prince Aemon's marriage back to Lady Floris Baratheon. I anticipate their sworn declaration. And Tywin's like, well, my brother is raising the strength of the West to the mast, the Golden Tooth, and we're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. We're going to win.
So, yeah, it's just like business. But I like that he's like, well, my nephew is mustering his forces from Old Town. Just like that, there's like, all right, you're done here. You're moving to Old Town. All right?
Well, for me, it was like, oh gosh, I have to like turn on the part of my brain that memorized all these locations and knew what all these things meant. Because like I was like, oh yeah, Old Town, Riverlands. All these people, all these things. Wow, this is a real pivot from the Real Housewives right now. I got to get this thing. I got to crank it all up, So while this is all happening, the little Prince Jaehaerys he's like sitting next to Tywin, and he is like playing with like the little ball, the ball you have to use to speak, and he's playing with
the talking ball,
the talking ball, the ball of talk, the ball of speaketh, So he's playing with it, and Tywin is trying to be like, hey, I need to say some stuff right now, but there's this little twerp here that I guess I'm like the babysitter of right now, so does anyone want to help me out?
Yeah, it's like, how dare you criticize my son? Son, ride him like a pony. And the kid's like, really? And Allison's like, no, please, can we just have our fucking meeting, okay?
She's
like
like,
your fucking blonde child to work day, okay?
Allison's like, I was getting banged before this meeting, and I stopped it to come here. So if we're not going to talk about anything important, I'm going to be really upset.
So they're going out, they're trying to muster people for this war, right? So that's what they're talking about. And she's like, so has anybody heard from Rhaenyra? Have there been any answers to my constant barrage of emails? Like, my
blocks.
What's the bird
my
called?
ravens keep coming back green.
My raven mails. Are there any responses to my R mails?
It's funny, I keep sending my ravens out to her, but they keep coming back with green messages, and it's funny because I have an eye raven and they should be blue, so am I blocked? I'm just trying to figure something out here.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, your little storied letter for murdering her son? Yeah. No, we haven't received an R mail. Okay. So Allison's like, well, let's try negotiating, shall we? So then, they do the joke with the little kid and stuff. And then we start talking about Otto jumps in. And he's like, the blockade. We need to worry about the blockade. King's Landing is in trouble. And Aegon's like, well, we should have just killed Ray Ray when we had the chance to kill her. But everybody wants to keep Ray Ray alive. And so guess we had to do that. So great job, losers. Yeah, but guess what? Ray Ray's auntie also kept you alive when she could have dragoned your ass in that church when she was hiding in the basement. Okay, so let's just call it a wash.
Yeah, exactly. And that would have been really embarrassing because that would have happened in front of everyone. And it would have been like, it just would have been a bad look. Well, you would have been dead. So it's a really terrible look for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, they are dealing with this blockade situation. And the whole thing that they're trying to figure out is, are we just going to is this going to be a Cold War or a hot war? Right. That's the big thing. So now afterwards, Allison's walking down the hallway, and then she comes across Laris, who is like this creepy guy that she would give handies to for information last season. That was their whole arrangement. So she runs into him.
Did she give him handies, or did he just get to jerk off on her feet? Wasn't that
you know what?
Because he's
I think that's
really
what
into
it was.
feet.
Yeah, I think
he's
she would take
really
off
into feet because he's disabled or something, and so I guess he's into feet, and so then he would jerk off while she showed her feet.
She took off her shoe, and he's like, "Oh yeah, here's the news. Oh yeah, show me that."
I forget
toe.
everyone's names or where we're at or why we're at war, but I do remember people's kinks, and his was toes.
That's right. I knew that there was some sort of sexual, she did something for him sexually, and then he gave her information. So he has now come here to tell her, by the way, I was talking to the whole staff, and, some people have kind of betrayed our trust, and I've kind of killed them, and I took on restaffing myself. So everyone here is kind of my spy. So don't
his
fuck up.
deal too is he's like, well, I've had a talk with your staff, and I've heard that you are indisposed. Meaning, I know you're banging the guy, and also now you're not calling me back right after I did exactly what you wanted, which was killing my own brother and father, so that you could get what you wanted. Really? Seriously murdered my own family. So could we not be fucking Kristen when I'm calling you? That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah. Because I just had to look at pictures of feet, and I just want to see the real thing sometimes. So now she's really weirded out by him. I don't know why it took her this long to be weirded out by him, because we were all weirded out by him immediately. But now she's in her bathtub, and all the handmaidens are scrubbing her, and she's just uncomfortable because it's clear that she's thinking oh, they're going to report back everything to this guy, and these are all his people, and I'm alone. So she sends everyone off and just starts scrubbing herself really aggressively, almost I'm maybe those people should have stayed, because I'm not sure you actually know how to take a bath,
Yeah, if you don't do it for a while.
She's like, is this how you do it? Scrubbing really hard.
So she's like, what is it? Last time I did this, we had bars of soap. What is this body wash? What am I supposed to do with this? It comes in a bottle. How's this even sensible? You have to have a loofah now. I mean, what if I don't want a loofah? What if I only want a one-tool thing? I don't want double tools to have to take the same goddamn bath I used to have to take.
Whatever happened to soap? Just a nice bar of soap.
Yeah, exactly. So then Ray Ray shows up, and shows up like a badass. Everyone's afraid of her dragon, and then she just kind of slides down it. And she sees the dead kid's, she's found evidence of the kid being there, right? She finds a dragon wing. And then, wait, is this where that is? What's happening right now?
There's a dragon wing that's washed up ashore, and then also his cloak, I think. So she sees it, and then she picks it up, and she's sobbing, and all the people are like, "Oh no, that's sad for her." But can we get that dragon wing? We're actually about to take it. We're gonna have a really cool thing for our village. But can we get the dragon wing? No.
So then Aegon is going into the throne room, and the intro guy is like, "Hello and welcome the king, Lord Hell, King Aegon the Magnanimous, second of his name, King of the Andals, and Rhoynar, and the first man, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, protector of the realm, and bad of the ass, Lord Hell, King Aegon, Aegon, Aegon." And Aegon's like, "Really, magnanimous?"
I don't even know what that means. So he sits down on the throne and he's like, all right, let's start this up. First day at work. I'm the king. I got people here. So who is up first? We have someone good. So this guy, Gerard, shows up. He's like, oh, good morrow, your grace, my grace. Someone's grace, saving grace, willing grace, all the graces. Grace. Oh, good. Say goodnight, Gracie. Like, all right. Could you get us move on with it? What do you want? What do you need?
He's like, the dragons keep eating my sheep, and I need sheep because I'm a sheep person. I'm a sheep herd. Need the sheep. Guys keep eating my sheep. And he's like, well, you can have all the sheep you want. It is now a law that you will get all the sheep you need to get. Yay for sheep. Good for you. Congratulations. You are a sheep winner. And Otto's like, listen, stupid. The sheep feed the dragons win the war, and we already told everybody they're fucked without sheep. He's like, well, just don't tell anybody that I gave him his sheep. He's like, these are gossipy bitches. Do you know what shepherds do? They gossip, okay? That's what they fucking do. They're basically animal barbers. Their job is to shear the sheep. You know what that means? They gossip, okay?
I mean, we only took 10 sheep from the guy. I mean, he probably has a flock of like 40. The sheep can fuck, get some lambs. They'll be fine. It's okay.
So he's like, okay, changed my mind because I guess I'm not the boss here. So this fuck, Otto, says that we ought not give your sheep back. Sorry, your sheep are eaten. Okay, next.
Did anyone appreciate my pun? Ought not. Anyone? I mean, you guys are my
Pretty good
subjects.
for
You
me.
guys, I should have gotten a bigger laugh. Like,
That
really,
was
any
my
joke I
first
make,
pun is king. So
yeah, any joke I make should actually have the biggest laugh because I'm the king and you guys are shepherds. But like that one was like a legitimately good joke, and none of you guys laughed at it. Auto not.
a one.
Do you guys
Not a
understand language?
not a win. Did the dragons eat your laughs as well? Okay, let's get to it.
Watch out for the hand. He's a bit of an autocrat. Anyway, I mean, come on now, people.
So now another guy's like, salts run scarce to the road to winter, and we rely on a ship to bring us salts, and now we can't get the salts and the blockade. And he's like, well, then just burn the blockade. Who cares? Burn it all down. And another guy's like, well, we'd love to support you, but we need money if you need weapons. And he's like, fine. You know what you should have? All the money in the world. They shall be delivered to you on that man's sheep. Otto's like, sir, we do not have money for these people. You fucking moron.
It costs money to take the sheep from the people to feed the dragons. There's no money. And he goes, well, victory depends on the efforts of the small folk. And Otto's like, okay, that's pretty good. Like, you reminded them they're tiny, insignificant people who really should be so lucky to be in this hall. So I'll go back to my place. I'm going to walk away now.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear liners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces, plus they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you could pay with your HSA, FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
So now Laris is there waiting for him after the meeting. He's like,
Hello, sir. I was just waiting for you after your meeting. Do you have time for a little chat?
Well, I think you wanna be a big man, big boss, huh? Oh, such a shame to see you looking so insecure and weak because your daddy was weak and insecure, and your daddy's right-hand man was Otto Hightower. And who's yours? Otto Hightower. Starting to make you look sad and weak, too.
Let's kill Otto Hightower. Burn him in his sleep. We'll murder him.
I'm like, Jesus, Laris, could you I would say be more subtle, but this kid has no idea he's even being manipulated. He's like,
how do I look more strong? What do I sign up for? Anything. Do you need my credit card number? My social security? What can I do?
So then we cut to Allison, and she's in her room, and Otto shows up. You know, Otto's her father, for those who don't remember. And she goes, well, I requested an audience hours ago. He's like, well, I mean, honestly, there were so many petitions. I mean, you don't understand how many shepherds have issues with their sheep. I mean, what happened to the good old days of kings looking after things that were more exciting? Like, I don't know, the whorehouse is burnt down. We need a new whorehouse. Or what about, too many drunk people in the streets, but now it's all sheep. It's exhausting.
Sheep. It almost makes you miss leprosy, doesn't it?
And she's like, well, I find myself, are we even on the same team? Because I go into a meeting and everything I say, I am being undermined by you in front of my children who barely listen to me anyway. And the last thing I need is for you bitching at me, because then they're really not going to listen to me after you bitch at me right in front of everybody.
He's like, God. All right, well, I never really thought of it that way, but I guess if you need more respect, how many stupid people must I pretend to be kind to?
She's like, you know what? All right, so everyone hates me. I can't deal with it. He's like, all right. Well, listen. Here's the thing. Aemon erred, but he's fiercely loyal, and he wishes to please. And he goes, well, you know what? Aegon still hates me, in private at least. Well, I guess I'm just really complaining about being undermined. That's really all I'm doing in the scene. Stop undermining me, okay?
Yeah, and she's like, well, he goes, well, I hadn't seen it that way. And she goes, well, you know what? We only need to mind Aegon until the novelty of rule is spent. And once he tires of it, you and I can take over and steer our case to victory, that little moron. He'll want to fucking barf out the window. Wasn't he the one jerking off out the window, this kid?
I think
He'll
so.
He'll want to splooge out his window again soon enough.
That was his defining moment of last season, was jerking off out the window. So now we see there's some ships at sea, and it's time to the guards, like Corliss's men, are coming in to inspect, to look out for stowaways and things like that. So they're looking through, and they're hiding. Not really hiding. She's just hanging out there. Is Zarya, also known as the White Worm. She was the one who is like like she has little spies all over the city and knows all the goss on everyone.
So then Daemon is like, oh, the White Worm, eh? And basically he's like, you little traitor, you traitor. And she's like, oh, God, I don't care about traitoring, all right? I'm not playing in your little game. I'm a poor person. Rich people fight rich people fights. I fight poor people fights and take money from the rich people to fight their fights. I'm just a tool.
Yeah, and he's like, well, how long have you been selling secrets to Otto Hightower, okay? She's like, well, as long as he had gold to pay for them, hello. You know what I'm all about. We used to have sex all the time. He's like, well, who sent you fleeing from King's Landing in such disrepair? You put Aegon on the throne.
And she's like, no, it was just the Hightower's conspiracy. I just took money for it. So don't yell at me, all right? Don't shoot the well-paid messenger. By the way, my whorehouse was burned to the ground. Is anybody going to say, oh, sorry about all the hookers. Sorry about all that. You trained them so hard. And now where are they? Dead.
Yes.
Burnt alive.
So Daemon's like, well, what do you know about Otto? What do you know about his plans? She goes, little and less. I possess nothing of value for you, Daemon. But then they stare at each other, and he's like, clearly he's going to mine her for some information.
Yeah, he's like, I'll pay you though. She's like, okay, well, I owe that man nothing, so.
His social security number is 321-776-2903.
Yeah, totally. So then Daemon comes out and he's like, lock that bitch up forever. She's a traitor. And I'm like, wow, okay. Thought that ended more peacefully than it did. But, oh, and this is the twin.
Yeah, because Eric and Eric.
One of the twins.
Eric and Eric. I'm still mad at their parents. I'm still mad at their parents for naming them that. Like, why couldn't it be Eric and Bob or like Eric and
Derek?
Samuel.
Even. Just add a D. Like, do something, you know. But Eric and Eric is a little rough.
It's just not the best. It's just not the best naming convention. But the twins, they've like split up now because they were like bodyguards. And Eric, this is Eric E. And he basically couldn't deal with, sticking by Aegon's side. So he defected over to this side, to Daemon. And
Daemon's like, well, how do I know you're not a traitor? Because your brother was a traitor. Now you're a traitor but you didn't tell us fast enough that you weren't a traitor.
He's like, hi, I work for the family. And then the family started fighting. How am I supposed to know which side to pick?
Yeah.
We're all in the same family. You know who you should complain to? The brothers fucking their sisters. No offense. But like, seriously, you guys are making it really, really rough to know who's who around here. Okay?
Yeah, like when you guys were all fighting and fucking, no one ever said, what about Eric? But I thought about Eric. No, not Eric. Eric. You? No. Eric. I only care about my brother, so you care about Eric. I don't care about myself. I care about Eric. All right, I'm getting really confused here. Which Eric are we talking about here?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm killing Eric. How dare you? I'm standing right here.
No, not you. I'm talking about Eric.
So then we cut to Ray, and she's coming back to her council, and they're like, Queen Rhaenyra Targaryen, first of her name, lady with a face like Teddy Mellencamp, Queen of the Andals, and the Royal Hall, the first man, lady of the Seven Kingdoms, protector of the realm, haughty with the hottest. Ray, great at Scrabble, great at writing. Is there anything she's bad at? She missed a Wordle one time. Otherwise, welcome home. We love you, Queen. Never change a thing.
Your counsel stands at your ready, your grace. I will fly to Harrenhal at your command and set your toehold in the Riverlands. But by the way, I don't have to go to Harrenhal. They keep sending me to Harrenhal, but I'm actually totally down to go somewhere else. Can we actually not go to Harrenhal? I actually don't really like it at all. She's like... But then Rhaenys comes up and says, Your Grace, my lord husband's blockade at the Gullet moves into place. All seaborne travel and trade to King's Landing will soon be cut off, including salt. Please send a raven to that person who wanted salt. There is no salt. We're blocking it. Thank you.
So then Ray just stands at the table and she's crying, She's like, I want Aemond Targaryen. And then she walks off.
That's her only line of the episode.
Okay, well, meeting's over. Okay, I'd just like to point out that she did not say, I want a son for a son. She did not say that. She said, I want Aemond. Period. I don't know how it got translated into, she said a son for a son. Now we can just take whoever we want. She said specifically, the one that looks like Laura Dern. Go get that one.
The problem is that since everyone is named the same name or a slight variation on it, it's really easy to mess up these sort of orders. I will say that. Like when you have like an Aemon and an Aegon and an Aeron and a Laven.
But that's why when your waiter comes to the table, you want them to write down the order and not just say they remember it. Like, I want to see it later. And actually, I was at a restaurant with my friends yesterday, and they were messing up the order. And my friend actually, I would never have the balls to do. I was kind of mortified he did it, to be honest. But he goes, "Can you read off the order that you wrote down to make sure that it's right? Because it's all been wrong so far." The guy literally had to pull out his pad and read back the order to him. And I was like, well, thank God. And that's why you should have people write it down, because there's evidence. There's evidence.
Yeah, it's true. So now Daemon, after hearing this, he's like, all right, she wants me to get Aegon Targaryen. It's like, no, Aemond. All right, I'm going after Brooke Shields. No, that's not even close to what I said. I don't even know who that is. So he goes back to Mysaria's cell. And he's like, well, in all your years as merchant of gossip, you surely accumulated spies within the Red Keep, servants who knew the comings and goings. She's like, yeah, fuck yeah, of course I did. Well, okay then. Your transaction, your knowledge in exchange for freedom.
It's like, how dare you? You have no control over me. He's like,
I'll pay you.
Yes, whatever you need.
So then we go to Ray, and the prince comes in, and he's trying to do business, but, obviously he's just heard about his brother, so he's crying, and he's like, Your Grace, Lady Jane Eyre, and then they just break down and hug and cry.
Yeah.
And it's hard on this show because you're like, wow, that loss, I mean, obviously is so rough. You know, you're not going to like make fun of that or argue with that. But it's one of those things where you watch a show and you're like, oh, just you wait. You're all dead.
Yeah.
You are all dead. I don't even know what happens. I don't remember the lore from.
They all die. They all die. They all die.
But you know that they all get murdered horribly because that's just what this show is. You know, it's like, let's wait to see how they kill all of each other's children. You know, it's like a horror movie. You're just waiting to see them get picked off one by one.
Exactly. So now Queen Alicent goes down to the cathedral to light candles. It's like morning candles, you know, because now it's time for us to believe that she's like not awful. So she's like lighting candles and saying things like Alry Florent and Viserys Targaryen. And then she's like gonna light another candle, and we're like, is she going to light a candle for sweet little Luke? And she does. She's like, Lucerys Velaryon. So it's like, oh, she cares about things. She's caught up in this maelstrom, but she cares.
Yeah, and this is intercut with the funeral and stuff going on. And then it's nighttime. A small boat approaches the shore, and Daemon pays the man. And then we see that there's a man named Blood, and Daemon hands him coins. Dun, dun, dun. So now we find out that Daemon is hiring people. I love this. Okay, you can't kill them, and you're like a full-on badass. But then you're going to go to these other people and be like, hi, people I just heard about from a hooker who I just stole everything, or who just had her whole life burned down. Guys, go kill the king. Okay, bye.
Daemon's
go kill
also
the king's brother. Bye.
Yeah. Daemon's also doing that thing. He loves to do it. He loves putting on like a little like hood, like a little cloak hood thing. And it's like, no one will ever see me here. And like the moment he like walks up to the guard, they're like, oh, Commander, good to see you again. It's like, maybe you need to have a better disguise.
At least spray tan. You know what I mean? Because like he's so white that he glows. Like they can see him coming from a mile away. You know, spray tan.
Yeah, people can see you under that hood. Like it's very obvious. You're the palest person in King's Landing. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Blood and Cheese he's talking to. So Daemon's like, the White Worm says you're one of the rat catchers. And now they really go heavy on the rat. Because I feel like last year they were like, I wonder if that girl's the audience was like, I think that girl might be psychic because she kind of says little things that maybe could have come true. And this year they're like, she's psychic. She said rats. So now let's say rat.
No.
37 times in this episode.
It's really on the nose this year. She's like, I'm not afraid of dragons. I'm afraid of two men pretending to be rat dealers sneaking in the middle of the night and killing someone. I don't know, just a hunch.
Yeah.
So they find the rat. So they go. Daemon goes up to this rat catcher, Cheese, and he's basically like, "Hey, I know you've got some pretty big debts. Let me give you some money, and here's what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to slay Prince Aemond Targaryen," which I think is like a pretty, to Daemon's credit, he does deliver the message pretty cleanly. Aemond Targaryen, right?
Yeah, they're giving it pretty cleanly, but this guy is like, whatever, I'm just gonna go get what I can.
Yeah,
you know, which is why you shouldn't just hire random employees to go do whatever. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you bring your car to the mechanic and they like fix the muffler and you're like, I just wanted you to check the oil. Like, oh, well, it's still gonna be about $1,200. Like, but it's just oil that I wanted.
Or they just don't fix the oil and change your tire, which is what ends up happening. And they're like, what? You have a better tire? What are you bitching about?
I know.
So then Daemon's like, yes, well, you possess a unique knowledge of the Red Keep. And someone passes by. They're like, hey, Daemon, what are you doing in town? See you later. See you at the bar. It's like, God damn it.
Good to see you, bro.
This hood is not working.
Oh, well, it says your name on the back. It still says Commander Daemon. Oh, God damn it.
Still's got your number 69 on the back. That's a good one. Good one. Love it. Love it.
It says I'm with stupid and is pointing at me. Hey, that's not nice.
So Cheese is like, oh yeah, there's tunnels down there. Great big rat's nest it is. I don't know if I'm being literal or figurative. You figure it out. Okay, but I know those tunnels better than I know the shape of my own cock.
And if there's anything I know better than tunnels, I know the difference between Prince Aemon Targaryen and a small child. So you got a man. I'm on top of it.
So he's going to take his friend Blood, and they're going to do it. And he's like, but what if we can't find him? And Damon just smiles. So maybe this is where they get the idea that they could just kill whoever. You know?
Maybe. You're right.
Because he just smiles. I guess that smile you could take a lot of ways. You could take it as like, well, you better find him, or you could take it as just kill a blonde person and get back to us. Okay.
Let us know. Let us know who you killed, and we'll figure it out from there. Shouldn't be a problem. So then, meanwhile, speaking of blonde people, so Aemond is hanging out with Kristen. These two fucks. They're just hanging out, talking, and they want to go to war so badly. These are two toxic males, and they just want to splooge all over the countryside. So Aemond is like, oh, we've wasted precious days in this war of quitters and ravens. Words are wind. You should be leading the van, and I should be flying cover on Vega. No castle would dare raise Rhaenyra's banner against us. We would bring the whole of the Crownlands to heel in weeks.
And Kristen's like, well, let's talk to the king. Maybe we can get sent out. Okay. And Emmond's like, well, we could add that levy. Well, whatever. They're talking shop, So
they want to go to war.
Here?
They just want to go to war. They're basically saying how they want to go to war really badly.
Yeah.
And
pretty much. So then Otto comes in and he's like, Kristen, go back to work. I need to talk to the prince. So he's like, okay, listen, are you scheming behind my back, you little fuck? Because you shouldn't do that. And he's like, what, me? Laura Dern? I only wish to serve my king and my house. What are you talking about? He's like, well, you and Vega are the greatest single power. And if it's not obvious, it is now. But listen, you can't see all the pieces yet. You must wait your turn. Be patient, Laura Dern. Don't put all your eggs in the Jeff Goldblum basket.
Your Oscar's not coming from Jurassic Park. I know it's a success. But just wait 20 years and you will see it. So now we have blood and cheese. Now they're going through King's Landing, and they're going through the castle, trying to sneak in, pretend to be rat cat. Well, their blood's pretending to be a rat catcher also. And they see King Aegon. King Aegon's wasted in the throne room just talking to his buddies. Aegon's like, well, I guess I need to be a symbol for the small folk, as we call the nobility. Let me guess what's going to happen tomorrow. Sheep. My sheep are missing. I want more sheep. Can you believe it? This is what I signed up for. It's bullshit.
He's like, you know what I want in life? A better nickname. I mean, what fucking's magnanimous? All right, can it be like Aegon Giant Dicked? Or like, Aegon Dion? Like maybe a Celine voice or like, something. I mean, Jesus Christ, magnanimous. What even is that?
So then Blood and Cheese keep on walking, and they're going through, and they're like, oh, well, how do we get up there? And Cheese is like, well, the Roars live up there. It's like, well, I know, but how we get up there? It's like, well, it's off limits. A different group of rat catchers work upstairs. Well, if we're going to kill the rock and roll prince, where do you think we're going to find him? I'm like, keep your voice down. Do you have to
say? I mean, I could be Egg Yonsei or something like that. Or if you don't want to impart that much talent on me, like Egg Z. Yeah, something like that. We need to get up there. Let's figure it out.
So they're sneaking around. They're going through. They get up. Now they go up to the royal level. And like there's thunder and there's lightning and there's rain. It's very ominous. And since this is the show, I'm expecting anyone to show up with like a sword and just like slice someone's head off at any second.
Yeah. And me too. I'm like, how are they getting away with this? The security sucks.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of walking all over the house now. They're like, oh, look at us. Now we're in a hallway. Let's go to the Queen's chambers. That'll be hilarious. Literally, nobody's there. Nobody's protecting them. Aren't they supposed to be on high alert because, like, Ray wants them all dead? Like, hello. So, anyway, terrible security. No ring cam.
Really bad.
There's no R cam, like, no Raven cam. Like, get something. Seriously. So they keep looking around, and then they find a handmaiden. And he's like, we need rats. Now, this handmaiden was in the room when the lady said, I'm afraid of rats, wasn't she?
She was, but she was just like, this bitch is always saying crazy shit. Yeah.
She literally just said she's afraid of rats. They brought up rats now to your face, literally, and you still didn't get it. Like, what do we have to do, lady?
She's just not the sharpest one, So they finally they wind up in a room, and Blood is like, Cheese is holding Helena, the mom, the sister / wife, with a knife to her throat. So the Cheese has taken matters into his own hand, And Blood is like, who the fuck is she? And he's like, she's the queen, she is. It's like, oh, a son for a fucking son. Does she look like a son to you, you fucking idiot rat catcher? He's like, over there. And he points, and the 2 children are sleeping in the beds.
Well, and of course they look just the same, so how are you supposed to know which one to kill?
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, just see if there's a wiener. And he's like, I'm not touching a wiener. Just ask the mom. I love that you guys draw the line at like checking for a wiener. You're about to murder children. They're like, I really don't want to touch a wiener. Is it a pedophile thing? No, it's a gay thing. This is a gay thing. So not doing that.
Yeah, no, I'll chop his head off. I'll slice his head right off, but I really just can't get too close to a wiener. It's just too weird for me.
It's a lot to ask of me. So,
so they basically ask her. They ask the mom, like, so which one is it? So she's like, I have a necklace. It's of great value. And she takes it off, and Blood takes it, which that necklace is going to be a thing, by the way. It's going to be like, it has the prophecy in there or something like that. So he takes the necklace, and then they're like, but which one is it? Which one is it? So she points at one of the kids, and they're like, wait, no, it's the other one. She's not going to give up the king's heir that easy. But she will, because she can't stand these guys. She's like, one less toxic male in this family bloodline. Hell yes. Take the boy.
Oh, God. Dark. But she points, and they take the kid. So she goes to find her mother, and guess what her mother's doing? Banging Kristen.
Who, by the way, if maybe he was doing his job, he could have intercepted these fools.
Exactly, but his wiener's out. So they're doing that, and she walks in and doesn't even care because, obviously she just watched her child get murdered. And so she just falls on the ground, and they're like, what is it? And she goes, they killed the boy. So she did give up the correct child. And that is the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but that's another thing to happen at the start of this war.
Yeah, so this is apparently... I watched like the little thing after the show where the writers and creators, whatever, are talking about it. And apparently this was an extremely famous part of the lore of this is blood and cheese coming in and killing the kid. So we just saw it. We just witnessed it. And now it's going to be all bloody hell. So I personally actually really like this episode. I felt like last season was tough with all the jumping forward in time and having to re-explain things so often. I thought this was actually a really good episode. So I was really happy with this return to with House of the Dragon.
Well, I always love this show. Really good to have it back. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Go listen to season 1 if you want. If you're listening to this on the Crappens feed, to get it sooner, listen to it on the Winter's Crappening feed. Also, if you want videos of this, they're on Watch What Crappens Patreon feed. So go check it out there, okay? And we sure love you guys. We will talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. If you like Watch What Crappens, you can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl, Keke Palmer, your favorite quadruple threat actor, singer, dancer, and my new role, podcaster. My podcast, Baby, This is Keke Palmer, is blowing up, y'all, because every episode I bring on an icon. Like when John Stamos and I talked about internet trolls hating on Disney adults, or when Jordan Peele explained why we love scary movies, even though the world is already creepy as fuck. Tune in to learn a little and laugh a lot, because your girl keeps it real. Listen on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Nancy's love story could have been ripped right out of the pages of one of her own novels.
She was a romance mystery writer who happens to be married to a chef.
But this story didn't end with a happily ever after.
When I stepped into the kitchen, I could see that Chef Brophy was on the ground, and I heard somebody say, "Call 911."
As writers, we'd written our share of murder mysteries. So when suspicion turned to Dan's wife, Nancy, we weren't that surprised.
The first person they look at would be the spouse. We understand that's usually the way they do it.
But we began to wonder, had Nancy gotten so wrapped up in her own novels...
There are murders in all of the books.
...that she was playing them out in real life? Follow Happily Never After Dan and Nancy on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of Happily Never After Dan and Nancy early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.